And we've mentioned it a few times now, so I might as well talk about Mr. Sock now. I'm gonna anyone who's got any channel, I'm sure will have noticed. It's someone you noticed straight away, and let's just talk about how that came about, how you started, and when you first decided to introduce Mr. Sock to your YouTube channel.
Um, this actually kind of spanned from the friend that I started the music channel with, believe it or not. He did a sock puppet character on YouTube for a very long time, and it was kind of like an Ed the Sock kind of knockoff, but then he changed his voice later on. And I actually made a video kind of like a joke video with a sock puppet.
Yeah.
And it kind of stuck. And then I was like, I kind of need a sidekick on some of my videos. Like, I love that my friends sometimes would come and incorporate some of my videos with me, but
Yeah.
they were never around. It's always hard having people or coordinate people to be in your videos. So Mr. Sock was always kind of like my sidekick. If I need to go to character, that was the character.
Yeah.
I just kept making goofy videos. Then I made a Resident Evil 5 like sock puppet video. I submitted to Screw Attack and ended up becoming one of the finals video on their My Vids Don't Suck contest. So I could have been a Screw Attack feature. It didn't happen. But that's pretty much how Mr. Sock was born, and then the characters developed, and then the voice changed, and even though people seem to think it sounds like Strong Bad, but it's like, it's a combination of like Ed the Sock, Triumph, the Insult Comic Dog. My favorite movie ever is Meet the Feebles, which is like a Peter Jackson puppet movie, So it was just a natural thing, and I just used him as he's like a whore, he's into drugs, and he hates everything. He's just a messed up sock. So it's just my way of just trying to be goofy.
Yeah. And do you get a lot of feedback about Mr. Sock? I guess it's probably the most striking thing you see when you first get onto your YouTube channel. So do you get a lot of feedback about it?
Mr. Sock is like a love or hate with my viewers.
Okay.
People who understand that it's a joke and can take a joke will absolutely love it and they can laugh with it. People who take it serious, like the things that I say are serious. Like I don't hate Nintendo, I don't hate Sony. It was a joke.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of him. But if I'm doing something with Mr. Sock and it's like a positive, like my last video, I did a Sonic the Hedgehog kind of review because it was his 20th birthday, and that got rave reviews. People loved it. But like my other ones where I talk about E3 and I make fun of everything about E3, people kind of like they're mixed about it, and that's like the only thing on the gaming channel. On my gaming channel that gets any sort of negative feedback, really.
Okay, and is that sort of the feedback you get from your viewers? How much does that influence the content that you put up? Obviously, you get negative and positive feedback from Mr. Sock, but I'm guessing Mr. Sock isn't going to go away anytime soon.
No, and that's just like, it's something that. At the end of the day, should I start another channel for Mr. Sock? Maybe, but and it's just there's only so many channels you can manage. And I said, you know what? Everything that I'm doing, Mr. Sock, anyways, is gaming related. So why not just keep it on there? And like I was saying, my channel is broken up of game reviews, arcade stuff, some skit stuff, and Mr. Sock. I mean, it's not too crazy of stuff. Like, it's not like I have like 20 different things going on the channel. Like, it's just those 4 main things.
And is that the way you're going to keep it as well, with those 4 main features, or do you see yourself creating more features on that video game channel?
I mean, I could keep popping out reviews left and right and get more subscribers and more views. That's where most of my views come from. But at the end of the day, am I happy doing that all the time? No, I'm going to get burnt out. So
yeah,
I'd like to share all my quote-unquote gaming interest.
And so the game reviews, are they something that you enjoy doing? You mentioned you get the most views from them. So does that encourage you to do them more than perhaps you would do if it was left solely up to you?
I love doing game reviews. I just don't like capturing game footage. It's the worst.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate it with a freaking passion. And like here's a funny story here. Like I was reviewing Conduit 2.
Yeah.
So I had to get a review out in a couple days. Like the website game that I do some reviews for. He's like, "Oh, hurry! Can you please put out a review as soon as you can? Before the game comes out." I'm like, "Okay." Games like that where I didn't record footage while I was playing it.
Yeah.
You can't go back and skip levels and get footage from each of the different levels. So I said, fuck it. I'm not going back. So I think I got footage of the first 2 levels, and I said, I just can't. And I put up like a little warning. I said, I'm not going to go back and play this game again. I just don't have it in me to play it again. Like I thought it was okay, but I don't think it was that great.
And just relating to the video game reviews and all your videos, when you're playing, as I guess a lot of reviewers have the same problem that maybe you don't when you're reviewing the games you don't enjoy video games as much possibly. The fact that you always, whenever you're going to play a video game, you're always thinking, should I review this video game? Should I capture footage for this? So how much time do you get sort of recreational gaming, I guess, and how much time do you have to dedicate to sort of capturing footage, getting reviews and stuff?
I mostly game casually, or I'm not like hardcore. I don't sit down for hours and hours, but like I'll play during the weekend, or if I'm not like, I mean, we usually start recording our podcast generally until like 8 or 9 at night my time. So
yeah,
that's I've still got plenty of time to pop in a game, and I'm not one, like I said, I'm not one to sit down upon hours and stuff. An hour or two, I'm good. I'll do something else, But I do like to still finish all my games, like just like anyone. I have a backlog, but I try to play a game that I really want to play, and if it's something that like hits me and strikes me as, what, this actually would be a good review, I'll do it. But there are those games out there where it's like, I don't know, I just don't think it would review very well.
So it's not based on how good the games are, it's just based on sort of your judgment on how well you'd be able to review it.
Yeah, I mean, most of the games that I review are ones that I would like to review. There are games like, let's say, Portal. Like, I love Portal 2.
Yeah.
Hands down, definitely my favorite game this year. But I didn't do a review for it because I was just like, I could pretty much lick its butthole the whole review. But I don't know. I just like I couldn't. It just hit me so powerful that I really didn't want to like I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Yeah. But it's just something that you feel if it's going to be good or bad. It's not something you can sort of put a judgment on.
Or like a game like Duke Nukem. It was super controversial. I mean, I could talk about that game all day. So that one just kind of just flowed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I see.
That's a good example.
Yeah, and your reviews, as you mentioned before, the fact that you at the start it was about the more about the comedy and doing skits and stuff, and now it's more professional. Is there any other big changes you've seen in sort of the style in which you present your videos or anything like that? Is it something you sort of feel like you become more professional about?
I think my reviews became more professional, but I think like as a whole, my videos have taken a step back a little bit. Like I said, I'll do the arcade stuff where it's more vloggy oriented. Like I'll do an overview of a machine. Although I do have a series in the work. I've got the kind of the green light to go ahead, and the American Classic Arcade Museum has given me the green light to go in, and I'm going to start trying to review all their machines in their museum. So it'll be just like an overview of the game, do some fancy artsy fartsy shots and talk about them and review them and stuff, and give like a fun factor score or something.
Yeah. So that's going to be is that a new feature coming to your channel soon?
It's just going to be something add on to the arcade stuff, because I talk about my own arcade stuff, but I only have so many arcade machines.
And do you aim to sort of build your collection through connections with the American arcade? I can't remember exactly what the name you said was.
Oh, the ACAM, they call it. If you guys have seen King of Kong, in that movie Fun Spot, which is actually ACAM, the American Classic Arcade Museum. That's what that is.
Okay, and is that something you want to build a connection with to maybe improve, build your arcade collection even further?
Well, ACAM is totally different. Like ACAM is one of those, like I said, it's the largest arcade in the world. Those guys deserve every donation you can give them, and they're all about really just reserving the games and making all these games that we played, in the 80s, 90s, playable for us and just keep them up and going and stuff. And I love everything that they do, and that's why the passion that his name's Gary, the guy who runs ACAM. The passion that he has is definitely kind of trickles down to the passion I have for arcades. Yeah, and as long as hundreds of other arcade collectors out there.
Yeah. So I'm personally not into sort of arcade games myself or arcade collection, but is it sort of a very community thing where if there's other big collectors, then you sort of know each other and you can get together and talk about it, sort of thing?
Yeah, and that's what it's kind of like the snowballed into is like, I have a lot of good friends now. I'm always, I have weekends where we get together, we go to arcade parties, or if one of us has an issue with an arcade machine, there'll be 10 people lined up to help you. Like I said, it's spawned into this big community and this great friendship, and it's always cool to have. It's almost like I was little, you know what I mean? Like we'd all sit around the TV and play Nintendo. We all had that same passion for Nintendo, and I kind of get that again with arcades.
Yeah, and just listening to you talk about all your all the things you do on YouTube and the arcade machines as well, and the video and the music. It sounds like you do almost like from my perspective, it sounds like you're doing so much that like I don't know how you sort of keep going. Really,
is too much.
Yeah, that's what it does sound like. Does it ever feel like that to you, or is it something you just enjoy so much that it doesn't feel?
No. It is too much. You're everything you just said is absolutely correct. I do not suggest people starting more than one YouTube channel. I just don't. I'm not joking either. I'm not saying to be sarcastic. I really mean it. It's like if you have something you want to do, stick with it. And that's kind of what I've done. I know this interview, it sounds like I have all these crazy things and stuff, but honestly, I'd say it's like 75% the gaming channel, and then the podcast. The other 25%, if I get to it, I'll put out a music review, or I'll put out an arcade vlog of some sort.
Yeah, and you've mentioned before that you get frustrated with the reviewing, capturing footage. Is there any other times in which you're making videos and it's taking a long time, or a lot of your time is dedicated to it, that you ever feel annoyed, or you feel like, oh, if I should just leave this feature out, I could just get rid of that and I'd spend more time focusing on something else?
I'm trying to think. I mean, voiceover work I'm pretty good at. I've been doing enough, so I guess I'm pretty good. The podcast helps, and I think I talk well to the camera.
Yeah,
I'm not. I don't get that awkward vibe like I did when I started out. You watch some of my old videos, I'm like, ooh, painful. But no, capturing footage to me when it comes to most of my videos is kind of like the biggest blah. The other stuff really is just kind of mindless. I kind of just wing it. I mean, and I don't do too many takes and stuff, and like I said, I can edit together a review pretty quickly within under 5 hours, I would say.
So is it something you've always been comfortable with, sort of talking in front of the camera, or just recording your voice?
No, like being myself, no. In characters, I was fine.
Yeah.
Like probably if we did this interview 3 years ago, I'd be like, oh yeah, I really like it. It's really fun. I don't know.
And is that something you've consciously sort of worked on, or is it just sort of you hear your own voice and you decide, oh, I need to change that, I need to change this?
It's a confidence thing, but it's like in real life, when people meet me in real life, they're like, oh, you're nothing like that. Like, you're a character.
Yeah.
Because on the podcast, I'm pretty crazy. I put on this big persona, this big character, but deep down, I'm just a big pussy.